Welcome back to the Black Market. I'm your host, Cobalt Lucius Black. And this is Megabonk with a coat of paint on it. I guess. And to be honest with you, the paint job is thinner than it looks. There's a design choice in the multiplayer of this game that almost soured it for me, and a couple of things underneath the surface that don't hold up once you spend real time with it. Let's get into all of it and see whether this game is worth your money and your time. So let's start with the pitch, because the game isn't quite what it seems to be selling itself as. Sineus Arena Survivors is a third-person bullet heaven. Genre you already know whether you've named it or not. Vampire Survivors opened the door, Megabonk picked it up with a 3D movement, and this is one bolts a building system on top of that same skeleton. Build your base while you fight. Strategic layer meets survival chaos. Sounds great, right? Well, that's the marketing, and that's what got me interested in it in the first place. Except, once you actually play it, the building system is a lot thinner than that framing suggests. 3 buildings. There's a bunch of different types, but you build 3. You invest resources, they grant upgrades, almost as though you're leveling up, but they're a bit more targeted. There are buildings that grant minions to lean more into the tower defense vibe, but I find them to be useless compared to just increasing your own power. And that's the whole system. No layout puzzle, no real base design, none of the depth base building usually implies. Towers exist too. They're the closest thing to active defenses that you can get. Walls, though, aren't something you build at all. They just appear once you cross an upgrade threshold. You don't place them, you don't choose where they go, just a number ticks over somewhere and suddenly there's walls. Here's the bigger problem, and the one I keep coming back to. The tower defense layer was clearly meant to be one of the 2 main things that sets this apart from Megabonk. That's the whole reason to pick this game over Megabonk, is the tower defense and, well, the co-op. But the tower defense is too simple to actually do that job. 3 buildings and automatic walls isn't a system, it's a decoration sitting on top of a survivor-like. If you strip the building stuff out entirely, I don't think the core experience would change much, and that's not something you want to be able to say about one of your big differentiating features. So if building isn't carrying the game, then what is? Combat has to. And the combat is genuinely solid, I'll give it that. The movement has more weight than Megabonk's does, which sounds minor, but it changes the rhythm of every fight. You can sit in an engagement a beat longer before it punishes you for it. With the building system pulling so little weight, the heavier, more grounded combat is doing almost all the work. And for the most part, it's alright. But then you get into build variety, and this is where the surface level problem shows up again. There's a decent number of weapons on paper. In practice, almost every viable build collapses into stacking projectile count, unless you're specifically building aura, in which case that's its own separate lane. Outside those 2 paths, most of the weapon roster just doesn't compete. It's the kind of thing that looks varied in a menu screenshot, feels a lot narrower once you're 20 runs in and realize you're making the same 2 decisions every time. Add to that, there are only 2 maps right now, and the game starts to feel like it's leaning on volume of content that it doesn't actually have yet. None of this is a deal breaker on its own. The multiplayer issue is kind of where it gets genuinely frustrating for me, though. In solo play, leveling up pauses action. Same as basically every other game in the genre. You pick your upgrade, the world waits. In co-op, that doesn't happen. Combat keeps running while you're staring at 3 choices. Your teammate's still getting swarmed, and you've got maybe 2 seconds before the moment's gone. I understand the intent. They wanted co-op to feel unbroken, no lulls, everybody locked into the same chaos the whole time. There's an argument that's intentional tension rather than a flaw, and some of you are going to hear this and think, that sounds great, and that's fair enough. But from where I sit, it turns the strategic breath that genre normally gives you into a panic click. I've taken upgrades purely because they were the first on screen, not because they fit anything I was building. Simply because the game wasn't going to wait for me to think it through. That's not tension, that's bad information dressed up as tension. It doesn't ruin co-op, but it knocks the whole experience down a peg, and this doesn't have that many pegs to be knocked down. And given how loud this feedback already is in community discussions, I bet a patch will address it eventually. There are games like Temtem Swarm that give the player a defensive bubble while they're leveling up so they can take their time. There are other games that can provide shared XP so everyone levels up at once. There's many ways to make this work, it just doesn't right now. Add all that up and here's where the verdict actually lands. This runs about $10. You're getting a genre you already know is addictive, running on movement that's a little heavier and more deliberate than Megabonk's, wrapped around a building system that's more decoration than differentiation, and build variety that's narrow than the weapon count suggests. Solo doesn't feel worth it, with Megabonk arguably having more content and being right there. Co-op is genuinely fun though. in short bursts, and that upgrade selection issue is going to be more grating the more you play it though, at least until it's patched. That being said, co-op is the reason to buy this game over something like Megabonk. If you have hundreds of hours in the genre already, it's worth a look, mostly for the movement feel and the co-op energy rather than anything structural the building system adds. If you're brand new to Bullet Heavens, I'd point you towards other games in the genre first. Circle back here once you know what you like. 2 maps and a shallow building layer means it doesn't quite earn a full price recommendation on its own merits yet. Call it a wait and see at $10, or worth it if the concept is enough for you. Skippable if you're hoping the tower defense hook delivers something Megabonk doesn't. If you made it this far in the video, a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated, guys. I'm trying to grow the channel right now and every little bit helps. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. I stream Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, so feel free to stop by and say hi. As always, I'll be back later with another video. Peace out. And a special thanks to all our members for supporting the channel. You guys are what allows me to keep making these videos and doing what I love, so thank you.